got a few kind of situations, Kevin Love, Rudy Gobert, stuff like that, that may kind of, twist the pendulum the other direction and make it more stars and scrubs. But right now, I think there's a solid build. There's a couple like inefficiently priced bigs in good spots, and generally, unless you have like super value, the balanced builds kind of win out. And I'm not really that into a ton of the studs on the slate, so I'm more into the balanced mode today.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I had some technical difficulties. You didn't miss much, Nation. Those of you that are just joining us, you didn't miss much. We haven't gotten into the positions yet. We're still talking about the overview of the slate. But what Paulie was saying is the same thing that I believe, in that you kind of feel like it's pushing you towards a more balanced build today, which we have seen, because DraftKings and FanDuel have both been a little more strict with their pricing. Of course, on FanDuel, you almost always have to go stars and scrubs because everybody's overpriced. But on DraftKings, at least, a site where people do like to go stars and scrubs, you have nights like these where the pricing catches up to the performances, and then, there's not as much, like, there's value, but there's not like that 3K value that we had a lot. And again, this is a slate where we have a lot of injury news. A lot of things can change. We've got Rudy Gobert, who's questionable. We've got Kevin Love, who's questionable. So there's things out there that could really open things up and make it like push us a little more. Maybe we'll be into a little bit more of the studs. But to be honest, as far as the actual plays and prices go themselves, I like the mid tier anyway. So I'm with you. I am, as of right now, kind of I'm not gonna go against the grain. It's pushing me into a balanced build. I'm liking it. I'm digging it, especially on DraftKings. There's a lot of mid tier plays that are just like shocking to me. We just got word that Kevin Love is a game time decision, because that helps no one. But it is information, pertinent information. Exactly.
It is
exactly.
Yep.
So without further ado, we'll get into a position by position, as we always do. We'll break it up into tiers. For those of you joining us on YouTube late, if you're new, please subscribe to the channel. If you haven't hit the like button, please smash that like button. We get 75 likes, and we'll consider doing another show soon. Why stream like this? So if you're new to the channel, welcome. This is a show we normally do for our paid subscribers over the WiseTake.com. We are going to answer questions at the end, but only from the actual Wisestream page, which is over at WiseTake.com, from the actual site chat for our current members. We'll answer your questions. The YouTube chat's going, but we're not taking questions from there. We're just letting it run so that y'all can speak amongst yourselves. But the nation's over on the Wisestream page. You ask questions there at the end of the show. We will answer your questions, as we always do. Normal Wisestream status. All right, Paulie. Point guards. Are there any pay-up point guards that you're looking at today?
Trae Young's in the highest total game, and two teams that generally don't play very much D, and there's a lot of steals and blocks and whatnot in those types of games. So I'll have a little bit of him. I honestly thought he'd be projecting higher, but we got like Giannis's, LeBron's, and centers galore on the slate, so I guess that's pulling away from him. I don't know. I don't know why I don't love it. I should. The guy just smashed me the other day, but there's just something about it that I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like I got what I needed from the last slate, and I don't know if he replicates that kind of performance here. Like, something's fishy about the game, and I'm not as like into it as I thought I would be, or when I first looked at the slate. But still, it is the highest total for a reason, and we shouldn't ignore that. So I'll have like 20%. I think I'll be over the field with that. And then Dame, it's another like, I could see him doing well if the game stays close, but I don't know if it'll stay close. And he hasn't played very well lately, but Chicago's like the best get right spot there is. So I'll have like a little bit of him too. But that's really it on the high end. Like, I'm not that into shit over there.
Yeah, I don't really disagree. I think Trae Young is the first guy that comes to mind. I never get Trae Young right. I always wait for Paulie to give me his answer on Trae Young, and then I make my determination on how much I like Trae Young. With that said, it's surprising that he's going to be solo owned again in this spot. Especially being that the point guard, it's like deep enough for a slate this big, but it's not like sometimes you get those slates that are 13 games, but they feel like they're 25 games because they're so deep. Like at center today, it's kind of got that feel. But for point guard, it's not as strong. I think there are strong plays. It's just not. It doesn't seem as strong. So I think that Trae Young at 9.8, the fact that his ownership is projected to be pretty low again is surprising to me. And because of that, I'm going to grab myself around 20% or so. I'm gonna mix him in and around. Um, Damian Lillard would be my next stop. I do like him. I also like CJ McCollum a little bit though, so I'm kind of on the fence. I know it's CJ McCollum. I know his ownership's going to be low with Dame back, and last year McCollum, I just went nuts against Chicago. He's from Ohio, so he's not from Chicago, just to be clear, but he went nuts against them twice. One of them was overtime, but I think a 50 and a 60. So a little sprinkle of him when I'm looking at him, but I'm not going to ignore Dame because that's one of the higher total slates on the game. Chicago's been playing a lot faster than we're used to, and their defense hasn't gotten any better. So I'll work in some Dame, but I'm with you. The pay up point guards, I'm not like super into. With that said, take us down to the mid range, Paulie.
Yep. So Spencer Dinwiddie, I believe you mentioned him on the Cork 4 show last night, and the usage has just been spectacular with no Kyrie and no Karis LeVert. I feel like the price is kind of not offering too much profit, but it is Cleveland, and they suck, and he is getting big usage. So, he showed us he can go for 50. I think you ought to sprinkle some of him in. Zach LaVine, especially in spots where you're playing Dame or McCollum. I like the idea of running it back with LaVine, who's coming off probably the best game of the season for him. Malcolm Brogdon at 6K, I like quite a bit. The usage he's shown most of this year before he got hurt, he's just way underpriced. He's pretty much living in the 40s to 50s, before the injury. It's kind of deep in the mid-tier, like Ben Simmons at 7,300, Mike Conley at 69 against Milwaukee, Terry Rozier against Miami at 6,200, like Marcus Smart with no Kemba, Malcolm Brogdon. I don't really like any one of those guys that much in particular. I think if I had to pick one, it'd be Brogdon and then probably Ben Simmons of like that mid-tier range, but kind of deep.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of the deal of the slate is that the mid-range all around at a lot of positions is pretty deep. I'll start off. My favorite is Malcolm Brogdon. He's just really cheap. He's 6K on DraftKings. I still like him on FanDuel because at the end of the day, it's a point guard against Memphis. That's been something we've been preaching all season long. We love point guards against Memphis, scoring guards against Memphis, and Brogdon has been a lot more aggressive this season. But he's still going to get those assists. He's still going to, he has the threat of the double-double. I can't believe DraftKings dropped his price so low. Now, we haven't heard any clarification on minutes. He's been out for a while with a back injury. But I'm assuming he's going to get at least 30. He was playing like a lot, obviously, like a regular solid starter would. But I'm assuming he'll at least get his 30. He did his best when Turner and Sabonis were both there because he just constantly had a big to get an assist through. So I expect him to play really well. Again, I like him on FanDuel too. He's not as cheap. He's like 8,500 over there. I still like him because I like the spot anyway. So you can imagine how much I like him on DraftKings.
It's only been out 10 days, actually.
10 days? It feels like, when you're in the everyday grind, it feels like forever when you're constantly playing Aaron Holiday and you know what I mean? Like all those kind of guys. Like it just feels like forever. But yeah, in reality, like if he's good to go, and I did read, he says he's 100%. He said he feels 100%. So I don't see why they would hold him back for any reason. So I'm with it. After that, I think.
What's ownership projection on him? Do you remember?
On Brogdon, I was seeing different levels, but like around like 15 to 20 is like the average I'm seeing him. Maybe like depending, because like I know Draymond Green was going to be a popular option. He's actually point guard eligible on DraftKings, so he's 5'6". That could take some away, but if he's out, I think that'll create more on Brogdon, who's only $400 more over there. So and on FanDuel it'll be spread because you got Trae Young and you got Wanamaker, who we'll talk about at value, and so on FanDuel his ownership will be low. On DraftKings it'll be a little higher, but I think still fairly low considering how good of a price and spot this is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he ends up being chalk. To me, he should be. I was surprised to see him this low. I mean, I don't see how he's not chalk. Guy was going for 40s on the regular. He's 6K. Like, it's like, I'm trying it at least. After that, Jeff Teague, just like a sprinkle guy. Like I'm not gonna have a ton of them, because I don't like his price. But it's a great game. Little revenge narrative in Atlanta, right? Playing against Atlanta anyway. But yeah, so I'll have some. Last guy I'll mention.
It's in Atlanta.
It is in Atlanta. All right. That always worries me a
Yeah.
little bit. Ever since what Cash always said, man, with the party, and we
Yeah, the
saw with
strip club.
Harden, it was a problem. Harden and Westbrook, it was a definite problem. No
Yeah.
doubt. And then I did forget one guy. I did forget Ben Simmons. Beginning I was really into this game. Philly's actually a really good defensive team this year, but I still liked the Philly side of the game because Toronto's playing pretty fast, especially with Lowry out. So I still like them a little bit. It seems like the ownership on them might be a little higher than I thought it would be, but it is a marquee game. It's like a playoff rematch kind of deal. So I like Ben Simmons. As well. I don't like him as much as some of the other guys, but I do like him. I'll work him in as well. Paulie, take us down. Take us down to Value Town.
Yeah, I guess the marquee player down here is going to be Brad Wanamaker. No Kemba Walker. He was already kind of in the rotation on the second unit. He's kind of the new Terry Rozier of the Celtics. And whenever Kyrie was out, Terry Rozier would smash. So Kemba's out. Brad Wanamaker should smash, right? A plus B equals C. Malik Monk is 4,100. Point guard's been doing well against Miami's ever since Kendrick Nuns took over there. Malik Monk has just been playing minutes, gets big usage on the second unit. Like 4-1 is way too cheap in a game that should play relatively fast. Rajon Rondo, the guy's playing like high 20s with significant usage in the high 20s as well against the Spurs, who've just been horrible defensively this year. I think he's kind of interesting as well, but that's really it in terms of value that I have chalked out at point guard.
Yeah, I'm with you. Between the combination of having a couple plays that we like quite a bit, the mid tier and top, and then you got Wanamaker, who does stand out amongst the rest. We saw he's been playing the 2 games before Kemba got hurt. He was playing around 27 minutes. Then Kemba got hurt and he played 30. Kemba did play a little bit in that game, so you would think that with him out, there's still a big void to fill minutes wise. They're already missing Gordon Hayward, who they run the offense through from time to time. So I think it's a good spot for Wanamaker. I don't expect his usage to be really high when he's on the court. I think Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum will do most of that, but he's a body on the court that's cheap. He's cheap on both sides. 4K on FanDuel, 4.3 on DraftKings. I'll have a good amount because it's cheap and it's just like you said, A plus B equals C. Kemba's out. This guy slide in, get some benefit. We'll talk about the other Celtics. They'll obviously get a boost as well. But as far as value goes, it's hard to get past him. I'll save some of the other stuff for one other guy I don't mind. I don't love it, but I don't mind it is Goran Dragic. Mainly on DraftKings. He's like 5K over there. He's been getting like 27, 28, 29 minutes, even though he's not starting. He is getting worked in quite a bit. So this game against Charlotte, they're bad defensively everywhere. It's a situation where a guard there could rack up a lot of assists. With that said, Paulie, let's go over to shooting guards, back up to the top.
Yeah. Oh, come on, dog. My shit. I gotta reload and all that. That's not cool.
Played. You gotta reboot. You got played. Plays.
Please,
what up, BK? I say BK's in the chat. He's surprised by the live stream. Yeah, I know we don't normally do this. Again, guys, just a reminder to some of y'all. We're looking for 75 likes on this video. So if you're watching this, you haven't liked it, you're doing yourself a disservice. Because we'll do another one of these things for free at some point soon if we get 75 likes. So go like that on YouTube.
Yeah, so like that. If Rudy Gobert is out, give me some Donnie Mitchell, 8,400, the usage god in Utah. And then we're going to slide on down to the next range. Really, it's the only guy, we already talked about McCollum, so that's it. But I only really like that if McCollum's out, if Gobert's out.
My mute button got stuck there for a second, man. Y'all was almost not being able to hear me. That would have been horrible for you guys. That would have been a mess. What would the nation have done? My mute button got stuck. Not good.
Not good.
I'm with you. I mentioned McCollum. Like, I do like McCollum. I actually like some of these guys up here, like Andrew Wiggins, and like this is gonna run into the mid tier as far as real spend ups. Like you said, there's not like a ton of guys. Like it's not like we have James Harden or anything. On FanDuel, you have a decision to make on Jimmy Butler, who's like 9,600. That's really expensive, obviously. Good spot for him. Don't get me wrong, it's Charlotte, but he's like 76 or something on DraftKings, so it's a whole different conversation. But aside from that, go ahead and just. I mean, you already talked about the mid tier, right? Mitchell, McCollum. No.
No, no,
Oh,
I
go ahead.
didn't. I just talked about Mitchell.
Yeah,
You know.
hit us with the mid
Um,
tier.
all right, it's deep, similar to point guard. Again, why this is kind of like a balanced build slate. Like I like DeMar DeRozan. You know, the Lakers are very good defensively against bigs. So the Spurs, I don't even know if they've won a game yet. Might have
They
missed one
beat the
over the
Knicks, bro.
weekend, but
They beat the Knicks.
of course, of
Of
course they
course.
did.
That's
Yeah,
what the Knicks
they
do.
finally
We're here to make you look good.
broke off. The,
New York Knickerbockers. We're here to make you look good. Kid.
yeah, yeah,
You heard?
broke their 9-game losing streak, and you know they're going to be competitive against the Lakers. I think. You know, I mean, I think they're trying to win more than like one every 9. You know, so I like guards against the Lakers. You know, long story
Real
short.
quick,
Jimmy Butler,
real quick, Paulie. Just got to interrupt you to share some breaking news. So Kemba Walker officially ruled out. We already kind of knew that was coming. Daniel Theis also ruled out for illness. So just wanted to share as these things come through. Paulie D, continue.
yeah. Oh man, that might be God mode. Yeah. So DeRozan, Jimmy Butler, Andrew Wiggins, Zach LaVine, Buddy Hield. I like all these guys. Jaylen Brown, 6,800. Evan Fournier, 64. The mid tier is fucking loaded. Really like Fournier. He had like 30% usage the last 2 games with the departure of Aaron Gordon and Nikola Vuce. And, you know, I think projection systems are not going to project well for him. And wings seem to just do dirties to the Pistons. We saw DeAndre Bembry go ham against them not too long ago. So, like Fournier at that 6'4" price, like Jaylen Brown with no Kemba, you know, Bogdan Bogdanovic is probable. So, like him and Buddy Hield are all right, but I do like scoring guards against Boston. The mid tier is loaded. The balance build is loaded. You know, like Wiggins against Atlanta, like DeMar DeRozan against the Lakers. So those are probably my top 4 there, like in the mid tier. Fournier, Rose, Wiggins, DeRozan.
Yeah, I agree, man. I like a lot of these guys, and I like them all somewhat equally. I think like grabbing around 20% on most, and maybe some at 30. But I would agree that it's deep. Andrew Wiggins, number 1 against Atlanta. I think Cat is also a very attractive option. We talked about Jeff Teague already, but Wiggins has been playing impressively before he got sick, before he had the family emergency, then he got sick. His usage was insane, and when he came back, he wasn't efficient, but the usage was still strong. So that maybe he's going to show us that this is the new Wiggins. So I have interest there. You mentioned Evan Fournier, whose usage has been like 30. We've never seen him play like this, but it's because Aaron Gordon and Vuce are both out, so he's the only one. I mean, Isaac obviously playing well too, but as far as shots go, he's their best shooter right now. So he's taking a ton of shots. Spencer Dinwiddie is on a back end of a back-to-back. I'm pretty sure they're in a 3 and 4 again because they played the Knicks recently as well. He continues to perform with Kyrie out. His price continues to be kind of mediocre. I'm fine with him. I think he's a little more of an optimal play, and I'm okay with that. I don't think I'm going to go nuts, but another guy, again, 15, 20% or so. Like, if I'm under the field, I'm under the field, but it's just this position is too deep for me to commit to one of these guys. And then, like you said, Jaylen Brown as well to work in there. And then, of course, I talked earlier in the show about CJ McCollum, who I think could be kind of a sneaky play. But again, like you don't need to go like 20, 30% on McCollum. I mean, maybe 20, but you don't have to go that high because he's going to be solo owned with Dame back that you can be at like 15, 20% and be well above the field. And you could be like that with a lot of these guys because it is deep. I expect it to be kind of spread here, like spread like butt cheeks.
Like on prison intake, yeah.
Spread like butt cheeks on prison intake. Yeah. Take us down to Value Town.
Value Town, baby. So liking me some Schroeder Dennis with Hamidou Diallo out for the next 2 weeks. Schroeder gets a big usage bump on that second unit, and maybe there's potential for them to blow out Golden State, who's terrible. And even if it's close, he's going to play a lot with, first and second unit, like 5-2 with the usage bump. His assist rate's been pretty high. Like, I like him. He'll probably be like 3% owned. I like Terrence Ross. He's going to get a lot of usage on the second unit with some of those guys moving into the first unit and just probably going to play more minutes. Will definitely close. And when he's hot, they just keep feeding him. If Gobert is out, Joey Ingles, shooting guard eligible on DraftKings, 4,300, played more minutes, higher usage, shot like shit. The assists, the rebounds, that kind of stuff was there. This guy was good last year. I know Bogdan Bogdanovic is there and kind of like stole his shine, but if Gobert's out, I expect him to play quite a bit, and there's potential for one of those starters to get in foul trouble guarding Giannis. So may need more of him today. So he'd be interesting. And then all the way down at I think it's 3.7, 3.9, we got Cam Reddish against Minnesota. I like getting exposure to the cheaper, lower owned value plays in some of those high total games. And he's basically just gone for like 23 to 28 in his last 3 games. This kid is a very good outside shooter, taking double-digit shot attempts, usage in the 20s at 3.9. Yes, especially in the highest total game. So like him quite a bit as well. And that's really mostly what I'm interested in him right now.
Yeah, I agree. It's just we have such a strong, mid-tier near the top. We did get a little bit more news. I believe George Hill has been ruled out. I'm assuming he must be sick or something. That's what I'm assuming. But yeah, I don't have too much different to add in terms of the guards. All the guys are on Terrence Ross, potentially Joe Ingles. And my favorite would be Cam Reddish. I agree. On FanDuel, he's also cheap, and on DraftKings, he's like 3,900, which was a little bit more valuable, I think, before. But assuming he gets the regular minutes, I do like Cam Reddish quite a bit for value, and Ross for the usage bump. Paulie, take us over to small forwards. Talk about the guys up top, and then just go ahead and transition to the mid-tier while I take care of some business.
All right. Giannis, if that game is close, he's going to do the dirty. Utah is one of the best defensive teams out there, though. Like, none of that matters. If the game's close, he gets his full run. He's going to do the dirty. He has the highest ceiling on the slate, maybe outside of AD when he was on New Orleans. We really haven't seen that ceiling this year. He's just a beast. I'll have a little. Again, there's not a ton of value jamming him into teams right now. It doesn't feel optimal, but he most likely will be the highest raw scoring player. I just say kind of same like opinion on LeBron. I'm just not really going up there today, but 5-10% because I think that game, it is one of the top 4 highest total games on an 11-game slate. And then in the mid-tier, we touched on a bunch of these guys already, but, Jason Tatum, big usage bump with Kemba not there. Playing a position that's done very well against Sacramento, the last few years. So I like him. Danilo Gallinari is 5,900. Not like my favorite play, but if that game is close, then he's going to crush that price. Just concerned about the game staying close. And that might be it. I mean, TJ Warren, Taurean Prince, he's just getting good usage, good shot attempts. I think he had like 30 in the first half against the Knicks, ended with 34. That's what Taurean Prince does, but double-digit shots in like 8 of his last 9. Sorry, usage in the 20s. Rebounding totals are up there. They pretty much are playing him at the 4. So, against Cleveland, I think he's worth a look at 5-2. And then Rudy Gay, I like quite a bit. He's not going to shy away from the matchup with LeBron. He's, a veteran that can score the rock. And, if, LMA's struggling with the size of the Lakers and that, good interior defense. Rudy Gay will bring him back in on the second unit. So he's kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, I think of all the positions, this one seemed like the weakest to me all the way around. So unless you're going to the top, Giannis and LeBron are not weak players. Siakam either. It's just they're all very, very expensive, and everything else has kind of set you up for a balanced build. Although some injury information is coming out where we could see that change. Maybe we see like guys like Cantor, Robert Williams. This could increase the ownership a bit of some of these studs. I think LeBron would be the one I would prefer over Giannis today. It's just he's looked really good. I know at Rondo back, we were suspicious that he would cut into some of that production, and I think we saw it a little bit in the last game against Memphis where it was a great spot for a point guard, but Rondo was the point guard who actually shined a little bit there. So I'm not crazy about the studs. Again, if we have value, I'll increase my exposure. I'll kind of force in a bit because they have the highest ceilings, and it could come down to raw points if these other mid-tier guys don't do the 6-7x we're looking for. So with that said, right now, I'm not gonna be crazy with the spend up dudes. Similarly to what Paulie said, I'll probably be looking more in the mid range with guys like on DraftKings, Jimmy Butler 7-7. I can get behind some of that. I like Bogdanovich from Utah. Just a team that invites a lot of threes. Bojan Bogdanovich. He's typically going to take a lot of threes. He's been playing really well. Not a guy that I love, like a ton, but a guy that I'll get some exposure to. I think that's kind of not that he's a bad player, but that's kind of a testament to how I feel about the position. On DraftKings, I can get around that. I can play guys like Fournier, Wiggins, some of these other options, but on FanDuel, you're looking at guys like TJ Warren, maybe. Bogdanovich would be one of them in this situation.
What's Bogdan's price there?
Where?
FanDuel.
Bojan?
Yeah.
Bojan is 6-7 over there.
Yeah, 6-6 on DraftKings. I mean, he's earned it, but what price to pay for him?
No. I completely agree. And if you are going to do it, you want it on DraftKings. At least get a benefit for those 3-pointers he's taking. 7s all day, 7s all night. But yeah, not too crazy about the position as a whole. Paulie, take us down to Value Town.
Yeah, not a ton. If Kevin Love gets ruled out, Cedi Osman at 4-6. He's gone for 30 back-to-back games ever since getting called out by the coach. Kyle Anderson had a major usage boost last game, and that could continue. He's 4,200, kind of contributes across all stat lines. And there was one other one. Who talked about Joey Ingles? Maybe that's it. I thought I had one more down here that I was interested in, but
Cedi Osman?
I talked about him. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I thought there was someone else. Maybe it's power forward.
Thug life. Yeah, I'm with you. On FanDuel, Cedi Osman's 3,800. That's pretty attractive over there. I could definitely get behind him more over there. And, I mean, I like him on both sides if Kevin Love is ruled out. But in the meantime, I still like Osman against Brooklyn. It's a pretty good matchup for him over there. But again, this is a position that's just, I'm not really into. On FanDuel, you have Cam Reddish, you got Osman. This is a position where I'm either going to the top or I'm punting most likely on FanDuel. And on DraftKings, like I said, the mid-tier is pretty strong here. Take us over to Power Forward, Paulie. Anybody you spend it up for at Power Forward? Did you find the guy?
Yeah, OG. Anunoby's 5.
There you go.
Like, this is going to be a good game. I think it's close. And OG, like, he struggled the last couple games. He was dealing with an injury, but before that, he was just going 40s on the regular. The game against Charlotte 3 games ago, he went for 37. He's 5K again. Like, that's where you want to buy in on OG. He's going to play a ton of minutes tonight defending like Tobias or Josh Richardson or Al Horford. Like, that's just too cheap of a price if that game stays close. And then there is actually one other too. Marv Williams, 4,200. Getting good minutes. He may shoot 0 for 9 and get you like a 2, or he may win you the fucking donkey like he did for Gautsov a couple days ago. So, 4,200, they don't really have that many bodies, and we do like kind of like those stretchy 3-4 guys against Miami. So Marv Williams, I just said that on a free show to millions and millions of listeners around the world.
Millions upon millions across the world. You talked about the pay up power fours, right?
No, we didn't. But we will now. Anthony Davis, I do like him at 9,700 against the Spurs, who give up the most points in the paint. Anyone in the NBA, AD is like fourth in scoring in the paint, and 9,700 for AD in a good spot in a game that should stay close. Like, give me all of that, like that. That's not even like a spend up. That's almost like balanced build material at 9.7. After that, I'm all right with Siakam. I just, I don't know. There's not like a ton of meat on the bone. I guess if that game does go down to the wire, Siakam's probably balling out. But at 9.2, like, you need like 55, and he just doesn't do that all that often. So not really in on that. I do like Domantas Sabonis against Memphis. He's just major usage. Now he's got his point guard back. I'm all right with that. That's really it up there.
That's really it. Yeah, I'm with you on Anthony Davis. I love Anthony Davis. More so on DraftKings, where you get the potential double-double bonus. You get extra point for 3-pointers. And he's cheaper. He's like 9, like you said, 9.7, whatever he is. Cheaper than Trae Young by $100. So I love Anthony Davis. I play a lot of Anthony Davis on DraftKings. On FanDuel, I still like him, but I'll acknowledge that the position is fairly deep with guys like Domantas Sabonis. If Kevin Love plays, he's in a really good spot. Jason Tatum has seen this season, without Kemba and without Hayward on the court, it's a small sample, but this season he's seen a phenomenal usage increase, him and Jaylen Brown both, but Tatum also. And he's against Sacramento. He's going to be against Bielitsa and some of these guys. Maybe he gets some Barnes. It's possible. But my favorite, though, on FanDuel, and on DraftKings, he's a center. And like we'll talk about center. Center is deep AF, and it just got a little bit deeper. It's just so deep. But Bam Adebayo. On FanDuel, he's 8,600. He's 8,800. I know it's expensive, but it's a center against Charlotte. I mean, Charlotte is the team that sent Jared Allen on this little thing, man. Like that was the first team that he dropped the 40 burger on, and then moved on to do great things. And I think that that situation is one that I want a piece of. On FanDuel, you're lucky. He's power forward eligible. On DraftKings, he used to be power forward eligible. You took him away from me, you bastards. He is now center, but I'm still going to play him against Charlotte. He's 7-1. They did give us that. He's very cheap. He's 7-1 over there. It's very cheap for the matchup. With that said, Paulie, take us down to the mid tier that I kind of elaborated on.
Yeah, Blake Griffin against Orlando without their two bigs. Orlando doesn't play very fast, but he's 7,100. He could go for 50 here. He shouldn't see too much resistance. Rebound should be more so a battle between him and Andre Drummond than the Orlando guys. And 71 is just, an abominable price for Blake Griffin. I mean, I know he hasn't earned it, but he's been hurt. Like, there's going to be one game, either this, the next, or the next, where, he goes for 50 and plays like the old Blake. And, I don't think he's going to be very popular today, so I'm just going to play him until that happens. Jabari Parker against Minnesota at 6'3". The usage has been really big since Collins went down. I like stretch four, or, dudes like Jabari against Minnesota at 6'3" is a nice piece from that game. Rayshawn Holmes has been just doing the dirty. Boston doesn't have their center. Power forward eligible on DraftKings. I don't know where he is on FanDuel, but 6'2", just too cheap for the minutes and the spot. And if there's no Kevin Love, then Larry Nance comes into play. Nemanja Bjelica, 5,600. They're on a back-to-back. I don't love it, but he's going to get good usage when he's out there. Lauri Markkanen, Jaren Jack. This slate is deep. There's 11 games. There's a lot to talk about. But those are the guys I like.
Yeah, I think Lauri Markkanen is interesting from a tournament standpoint. He's 7-1 on FanDuel again. He kind of gets lost in the shuffle on DraftKings at 5-5. I think it's somewhat strong, being that he's going to be matched up, at least in the beginning of the game, with Carmelo Anthony. Scoring forwards have just torched Portland for years, really, and I think they're going to continue to. And I think Markkanen, I know he hasn't been as aggressive. He hasn't played center that much this year. All these things have kind of hurt his production, but 5-5 is pretty low for a guy that could always double-double. And on a site where you get a little bit of bonus. So I like him more on DraftKings for sure, but I have some interest.
In Carmelo defense.
Yeah, against Carmelo defense. I think, like you said, Larry Nance, if Kevin Love is out, Larry Nance looks like an awesome play. They finally moved him to power forward on FanDuel, and they made his price reasonable, I guess, for the spot. It's Brooklyn, so, if he plays power forward, we'll see some toilet paper, which is always, phenomenal if you're targeting against. You mentioned Jaren Jackson again. I think a little bit of a stronger play on DraftKings. You have to wonder, on the one hand, like how he's going to fare against Sabonis. Like, it's kind of a scary thought with his foul trouble. But that's the thing with Jaren Jackson. People are always afraid to play him. So when his price gets down this low, if you happen to get him right and he can stay out of that foul trouble, which against Indiana he's been able to in the past, then you can get a nice little tournament play. But again, more of a DraftKings thing because of the pricing. I think that's it for me in the mid-tier. Maybe I work in a little bit of Al Horford just because he always seems to project well for some reason. But I mean, it is with Ibaka out, and which he is out. There is like a little bit of what he's going to see Siakam and then Gasol and Embiid. It's like you just kind of like you're not all that attracted into it. You know what I mean? With that said, Paulie, take us out of Value Town.
Not much down here right now. Brandon Clark, Memphis. If you're playing a bunch of Jaren Jackson, hedge out with Brandon Clark. Kyle Kuzma, second unit, good usage. San Antonio plays bad defense. Kelly Olynyk's projecting well. He's been playing good minutes. He's 4,200 against Charlotte, team that just gets destroyed by bigs. I don't mind that. Robert Williams from Boston's probably extremely viable now. He's 3,300, so that's probably going to become a relatively chalky spot. And if not, good, because I'll play a lot of him. Because I think Boston really wants him to be their guy with Tice out. We'll see how much Canner plays, but Robert Williams, 3,300. That's a value play I think the public should jump on.
Yeah. I think that's kind of like headlining it right now between him and Cantor. Robert Williams, the best part about on DraftKings anyway is he's got power forward eligibility, and I think that's pretty huge. On FanDuel, power forward to me is a little almost deeper than DraftKings because of some of the positions. Like you got Bam over there. That's a real big play that you get to merge over there. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's deep regardless. But Robert Williams, 3,300. Definitely a play like that could raise the ownership more on LeBron's and Giannis's and Anthony Davis's because it's one more guy that's going to help these people fit those guys in. So. I'm with you. He's 3,300 against Sacramento. He stands out like crazy right now. In a really good matchup, right? So I'm all over that. I'm on it. And Kyle Kuzma's been doing me dirty for a while, real dirty. But he's cheap. He's cheap on both sides. San Antonio's a team that he's smashed pretty much his whole career. The difference, of course, is now there's LeBron and AD. Taking away all the usage and hogging it. But I'll go back to Kyle Kuzma a little bit because he's got the potential to go. His usage has been crazy low. But yeah, I'll sprinkle some in there. Some Kuzma. But yeah, Robert Williams, I think, headlines the value right now, right? Sucking on. See, take us over to centers, the deepest position on the slate. Are you paying up for any of these Mafia?
I don't think so because the mid-tier and value is just so loaded, but I think no, Anthony Davis, who we already talked about, power forward, is the only one I'm really interested up top. So if you got someone to talk about, go
No,
ahead.
I mean, I mentioned I kind of like Wiggins, and so like Cat, I'll have a little bit of. It's a phenomenal spot, but like, I mean, at least perceptually, but Atlanta hasn't been as terrible against the centers. Like I still think Cat is one of very talented. Obviously, has a lot of usage, so I'll have a little sprinkle of Cat. I'll have a little bit of Embiid if you want to even consider him a pay up. I think my favorite pay up though is Drummond. He's probably my favorite pay up because I think people are gonna back off because he was just chalk against Milwaukee and he burned. But remember, he's playing Orlando, a team he never like. Vooch used to be tough for him because he has to go out the perimeter. Now he's gonna have Mo Bamba, who's limited to like 15, 16 minutes or so, and then he's gonna have Birch, who's not that big and doesn't play the perimeter. This is actually a really good matchup for Andre Drummond, even with Blake there. Also a good matchup for Blake. But just for the record, I think my favorite between Cat, Embiid, and Drummond is actually Drummond. I think I'd rank it Drummond, Cat, then Embiid. But again, like you, I think I'll have more exposure to the mid tier. Take us down to the mid tier.
Yeah, I mean, this is just loaded city. You already touched on Bam, 7,100. The guy who's like a triple double threat and multiple block threat. Tristan Thompson, if Love gets ruled out, centers against Brooklyn, although that spot hasn't been as good lately either. Um, Hassan Whiteside in an absolute smash burger spot against the Bulls. Love the way Jared Allen's been playing, 6,100 against Cleveland. I think it's time to buy in on Jonas Valanciunas at 5,900 against Indiana. All those guys is where I'm really going to kind of distribute most of my center ownership. But there's really I'm only interested in Mo Bamba, but I guess you could look at Ken Birch as well. The value from Orlando. Nerlens Noel against Golden State. In a blowout, in a close game, he's just been playing minutes, and he's just a point per minute freak. And Golden State is like the new Brooklyn to just always play centers against. And now we got Enes Kanter down here as well, down below. And then if Gobert gets ruled out, like I'm going to want as much Tony Bradley as I can get as well. So the center is loaded.
No doubt, no doubt. For me, Whiteside and Bam on DraftKings. 7-1 and 6-1. Whiteside is 6-1 against Chicago. Just one of the nut matchups. He's technically not. Yeah, it looks like he is ruled in. So yeah, 6,100 for Bam. That's just ridiculous against a team that he should benefit from blocks. A team that he should be able to out rebound everybody on the court. He'll be chalky, I would think. So I'm prepared. But there's so many centers that maybe he was not going to be as popular as he should be because there's so many other centers to pull you off. Bam Adebayo centers against Charlotte. My other favorite spot. It's like my 1 and 2. I'm set. It's just glorious. My 1 and 2 underpriced on DraftKings. Let's go. Even on FanDuel. One's a center. One's a power forward. I love it. With that said, there are, like Paulie said, a lot of plays that are pretty good. Like you mentioned, Joe Val. Miles Turner is cheap. I don't love the matchup against Joe Val for Turner, but it is very cheap price for a guy like Turner who can go for 40, can have put on a block party. So there are some interesting options in this mid-tier. Center, like you said, is just very, very deep. Take us down to Value Town.
Yeah, I already talked about it. You got Cantor and Mo Bamba, and that's really all I'm looking at down there.
Yeah, I agree. Cantor, Mo Bamba. Cantor's obviously going to be harder to work in, but because they both are because it's center. But
Yeah.
do the dirt and dirt. Dirties all day. With that said, Nation, WiseTake subscribers in the chat, go ahead and put your questions in the chat. Some of you already have. We'll start reading them off. If you're on the channel, the show will continue. If you're on YouTube channel watching for free, the show will continue where we're answering questions from our WiseTake site chat, which is available for the WiseTake subscribers. We will do some top threes. We'll do top three, I guess, guards, forwards, and centers since we're not crazy about the studs as of now. So we'll do top threes and we'll do questions. Top three guards.
I never think about this in advance. Malcolm Brogdon, Brad Wanamaker. Zach LaVine.
I will go Brogdon, Wanamaker as well. I'll go with I guess I'll go with McCollum for the contrarian purposes, even though he's not the optimal play. Top 3 forwards.
AD, Jason Tatum, Jabari Parker.
I'm going to go Anthony Davis as well. I'll go Andrew Wiggins, and I'll go Jason Tatum. Centers.
Bam, Bamba, Whiteside.
Yeah, I'm going to go Whiteside, Bam, and I'll go with Andre Drummond, though the Boston Celtics situation, I'm sure, is a situation you and I are going to have exposure to once we just figure out which one it is. And for those of you that aren't subscribed to WiseTake.com, Paulie D does do a DraftKings cheat sheet on slates with 5 games or more. Cam does one for FanDuel. Paulie and Cam put out their core plays. They highlight cash game plays as well as top tournament plays in their cheat sheet. If you're in a jam or you're looking for a player pool, whatever the case may be, we have a lot of content we offer for subscribers over at WiseTake.com. I do a core plays article where I write out the players that I'm going to have the highest exposure to. I also rank my top 5s at each position. Of course, we have a slate breakdown that's already up from Stevie Brown today. Stevie goes over a cash game core, discusses the slate as a whole for cash games and tournaments in his article, gives you a cash game course, tournament course. We have a lot of tools we offer over at WiseTake.com, and of course, the Slack chat. Me and Paul are going to try to hop up in there in a little bit here after we get our content done. Content, for those of you that are subscribed, should be up shortly. Again, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, please smash the like button for us. With that said, losing my voice, time to do some questions. Paulie, can you please... Oh, okay, no. That was before we weren't... Okay, here we go. TJ Nookie. Drummond or Blake? Or both on DraftKings?
Blake for me.
I prefer Drummond slightly, but again, like, it's a spot I'm not going to be too heavy on either. But I prefer Drummond. Paulie prefers Blake. Which stud does Rondo correlate better with, AD or LeBron? AD, right?
Definitely AD, yeah. But really, neither.
How many Celtics would be too many?
4 would be too many.
Yeah. I think that's a fair number.
Actually, 5 would be too many. You can play 4.
Because yeah. Like it depends on who you're playing, right? Like you wouldn't pay 4 7K guys. But because Wanamaker and maybe Robert Williams or Cantor, now it's almost like you're playing 3 and the extra 2 are just value plays. You don't even look at them like part of the team. They're just their own separate value plays. So I'm with you. I think that makes sense. I see a question from T Cam and one of our members saying, Paulie, can you please repeat what you said to millions of people? But I think he's talking about when we were talking before the show, just how you view the slate as a whole. I think by now the nation knows how you view the slate as a whole. Shout out to LD. Always see him in the Slack. Shout out to Huey, man, one of our hockey guys who we may have to bring on here for one of these shows. Huey's been crushing it, man. He's been winning tons of money.
Yeah. What is like the step above a heater? Because that's where he's in that. There. Like what do we call this now?
We call him a beast. We call him a God mode. Right? We call Cantor God mode since he beat up that day last year. So we got to call it God mode, right?
Yeah,
mode it up.
Huey's in God. Keep it up, bro.
That's it. All right, Nation, that's going to do it. Again, the rest of the content will be out shortly. Appreciate those of you that have joined us live. Again, our goal here is to get 75 likes. So if you got to show this video to your moms, to your sisters, to your brothers, whatever, to get them to like it, to get us to 75. We get 75. Maybe not tomorrow because tomorrow's a 2-game slate. Maybe we will do it, but we'll do these more often in general if we get the likes because it's all about the likes on YouTube. And that's thug life. It is what it is. For Paulie D, for myself, the entire WiseTake Nation, as always, good luck.